Okay, brilliant. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Phoebe, and I'm part of the education team here at ChildNet, and that's part of the UK Safer Internet Centre.
And my name is Rosie, and I'm also part of the team at ChildNet. We're so pleased to have some time today to tell you a bit more about the upcoming Safer Internet Day celebrations, including all of the resources available to help you run activities in your school or youth group setting.
So before we get started, we want to let you know that you could submit questions via the Q&A, and we'll be leaving some time at the end of today's kind of 30 to 40-minute session to answer them. Now, in our work with the Child and Education team, a big part of our job is travelling to schools around the country, talking to children aged 3 to 18 years old, parents, carers, and professionals about online safety. And everyone in the team here comes from an education background, so we know firsthand how valuable your time is and actually how many plates you probably have spinning. And our aim today is to tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming Safer Internet Day campaign, and most importantly, signpost you to the various resources available completely for free. So here in the UK, the day is coordinated by the UK Safer Internet Centre, a partnership between three organisations, ChildNet, the Internet Watch Foundation and SWGFL. And it's worth checking out each of those organisations individually as they each offer different resources and support available for you in your role. Now, we've been working closely with colleagues from the Education Authority and Safeguarding Board of Northern Ireland to help ensure Safer Internet Day is a success in Northern Ireland. So to kick us off, we'd like to welcome Eamon McAteer from the Education Authority to say a few words. So over to you.
Thanks, Phoebe. Really appreciate getting the opportunity to talk to everyone today. I see we've 57 kind of people on the call, which is brilliant. Busy day at school, and you've taken the time to come in, so we appreciate every single one of you coming today. Could I thank the team here? First of all, Becca, who's kind of doing all the background work here and making things kind of tick over and making people live audio and so on. So thanks, Becca. And then there are two presenters, Phoebe and Rosie, all three from ChildNet. And the partnership that we have then with ChildNet, including UK Safer Internet, is really important. The C2K EDIS solution is built on a platform that is underpinned by security and safety. And while we have the greatest technology and all the different software and programs and whatever, if we don't highlight the importance of keeping children online, then we're not doing our job. So while Safer Internet Day is a very important day to focus our minds, we try and have this approach and this message out to all schools at all times. So the value of working with people who are not only educationists, but are well informed and have research driven data to support what we're doing is so important to us. I would like to selfishly thank my colleague, Esther Woodhouse, who is our online safety lead and is kind of working with the Safeguarding Board for Northern Ireland and the team at UK Safer Internet and ChildNet to bring this day today. You didn't come here to listen to me, so I'm going to hand over to the experts, Phoebe and Rosie, to take the session. And thanks for joining us today.
Amazing. Thanks, Eamon. So, Safer Internet Day is a global campaign celebrated in over 100 different countries each year, and it normally falls on a Tuesday in early February. And this year, Safer Internet Day will be celebrated on Tuesday, the 10th of February 2026. Now, we are aware that that date falls in half-term holidays for many schools. As the date is set internationally, this is something that other countries do struggle with as well. And we've been working with partners from both the Education Authority and the Safeguarding Board for Northern Ireland to overcome that obstacle. And we are recommending that schools who wish to participate in the day run activities the week before. And of course, we know it's not just schools who we have here today. If you're joining from a youth organisation, library, or anywhere that works directly with young people and is likely to have contact during the school holidays, we really encourage you to focus your activities on Safer Internet Day itself.
That's right. Because Safer Internet Day is ultimately about inspiring a national conversation about using technology responsibly, respectfully, critically, and creatively. It's about empowering children and young people to speak up about their digital lives and also empowering adults to engage and listen to develop a deeper understanding of young people's experiences. So, whether you participate before, after, or on the day, what's most important is that you get involved and help engage young people with those key online safety messages. So last year, the campaign reached more than half of children and young people in the country and half of UK parents and carers. And this was only possible thanks to the incredible support from schools, youth groups, libraries, police force, charities, government, and the internet industry. So why should you and the young people you work with participate in Safer Internet Day? Well, every year we run a survey after the day to gauge the impact the campaign can have. And last year, 76% of the young people we spoke to said they felt more confident about what to do if something is worrying them online as a result of the day. And furthermore, 57% told us that they had spoken to a parent or carer about something that had been worrying them online after hearing about the day. We also spoke to parents and carers themselves about their experiences of the day, and 77% of them told us that they had talked to their child about using the internet safely, and 71% felt better prepared to keep their child safe online. And perhaps most notably, 80% of the educators we surveyed after the day felt more confident about dealing with online safety issues. And 58% said the conversation started by the campaign led to disclosures and potential safeguarding or child protection issues online. Now, that's a lot of young people getting support and advice who otherwise might have been facing that problem on their own. We know that participating in Safer Internet Day, raising the profile of online safety and starting those conversations about life online can have a very real and very important impact for the children and young people that you work with. But I'm sure you don't need us to tell you the importance of online safety. That's why you're here. The internet and technology is a huge part of all of our lives, including children and young people. And whilst we know that can bring opportunities and excitement and lots of other positives, there's always going to be risks. And as professionals, we all have that duty of care to safeguard the children and young people that we work with. And I'm sure you'll agree that online safety is a vital part of this.
We also know that lots of you are already doing amazing work in this space. Whether you're delivering messages during computing, assemblies, RSE, or have a really comprehensive whole school approach, we feel confident that Safer Internet Day has a role to play. It's not about delivering all your online safety messages in one day, but we do see it as a great opportunity to engage young people with the topic and to keep it at the forefront of everyone's minds. It's a chance to celebrate technology and the opportunities that it can offer, whilst also starting conversations about young people's online experiences that can continue all year long. It's also really good fun. And participating means joining in with thousands of other organisations all across the country. Plus, whatever your role, we have resources to help you get involved with the day, whether you have 5 minutes, an hour, or want to dedicate a whole week to celebrations. Now, every year in the UK, we choose a different theme for Safer Internet Day. Previous years have included important topics such as reliability online, consent, online identity, and last year we focused on scams. This year, after consulting children and young people, hearing about what they're seeing and experiencing, Safer Internet Day will be focusing on AI. And our full strapline is Smart Tech Safe Choices, exploring the safe and responsible use of AI. It feels as if everyone's talking about AI, and with many children and young people hearing about and using AI online, it's important they have the skills and confidence to make safe choices when they're using smart technology. This Safer Internet Day, we're exploring the impact of AI on all of our lives, looking at how AI can be used for good and giving advice and guidance that empowers people to use AI safely and responsibly. Before we get onto our materials for this year, we wanted to talk about the focus groups that helped us to develop this year's theme. So we ran 2 phases of focus groups with young people aged 7 to 18 years old to help us develop the theme. We started with an initial phase covering a range of different themes, and from that there was a clear frontrunner, AI technology. We were then able to focus on this in our later phase and dig deeper into young people's perspectives and experiences of AI technology. Some of our key takeaways from across all the focus groups include that there was an awareness of AI across all age ranges, but with more misconceptions amongst primary age young people, so those aged up to 11. The young people we spoke to were most familiar with generative AI, AI search tools, and voice assistants, but there was less familiarity with use of AI for algorithms. Children as young as 7 were picking up on content warnings on the platforms they use that show when something has been created using AI. Lots of the young people we spoke to linked Gen AI to brain rot content and memes. Nearly all had experimented with use of AI, and the most common use of AI was to support study or schoolwork. And there were concerns at older primary and secondary age about parents and carers' understanding of AI, and feelings that they don't have the knowledge or skills to adequately support their children.
The youngest age we talked to were 7 to 8-year-olds, and some key findings from this age were that they relied on traditional safety messages and tried to apply this to AI, with one young person saying, "You shouldn't ask AI about privacy because it could put it up on Google and show everybody. You should only share your privacy with your family." They were familiar with recommendations on streaming platforms and had some ideas of how these may work, with some linking it to AI. They also spoke about voice assistants and AI-generated content, including music, videos, and photos. When talking to young people aged 9 to 11, we found that they had experience of using AI at school for creative tasks, but had limited coverage of safety messages. Outside of school, they had used AI for a variety of tasks, including chatbots to support with schoolwork and studying, with one young person saying, "I use ChatGPT to help me revise, and it actually helped me so much. Like with the maths, it made my brain have more memory." They have a strong awareness of generative AI, knowing that it could be used to create images or videos in varying circumstances. Many of the young people we spoke to expressed confidence in their ability to spot AI-generated images and videos and shared methods for working this out, such as it would seem higher quality and more like animation or from mistakes made by AI.
Now on the screen here, you can see a word cloud generated from some of the terms used in our focus groups whilst developing the theme for this year. Hearing all these different perspectives, but especially the experiences of young people, was so valuable in our development of the educational resources. We really hope that this theme is going to allow for some fantastic conversations at home as well as in schools. So hopefully we've sold you on the theme. We're now going to spend a bit of time exploring the resources available to support you in engaging with Safer Internet Day 2026. So let's start with the downloadable activity packs. You can find all the resources for free on the Safer Internet Centre website. The page looks just like this, and you'll need to click on the tab labelled Education Resources that you can see here. You can also see the URL on the screen. As in previous years, we provided 4 sets of resources, each designed for working with a different age range: 3 to 7s, 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s, and 14 to 18s. Each pack includes instructions and resources for adaptable activities and an assembly. You can also find a letter to send home to parents and carers, explaining the theme and signposting them to quizzes, top tips, and the conversation starters as well. All of the resources are available in English, Welsh, and also Irish, thanks to funding from the Safeguarding Board for Northern Ireland. Okay, I think we might be ready to have a look through the resources. We're focusing on the 3 to 7 and 7 to 11 activities in this webinar. All the activities are designed to be adaptable. You can edit the slides and move things around or add or take things out as you see fit for your learners. And you'll see that some activities have extension activities too. We'll finish up the session with a Q&A. Now, when you download each pack, you'll find 4 documents which are numbered and named for ease of use. I would recommend starting with the PDF, which lists the different activities, and it's helpfully labelled number 1. This document starts with an overview of the theme, and this is also where you'll find some really important guidance, including advice about establishing a safe and supportive learning environment, or knowing where to get more information or help. Naturally, your organisation's safeguarding procedures and policies need to be the first port of call here, but there's lots of advice and support available should you need it. Further through this document, you'll reach the activity overviews. And at the top of each activity, you'll find an approximate running length and learning objectives, along with a list of everything you'll need to deliver it, including a reference to the supporting slides, which, if needed, will be available in the PowerPoint, which is a document number 2 in your download. We've also worked hard to ensure the activities are adaptable. And similar to last year, we've made suggestions for every activity in all 4 packs of how they could be adapted for learners with additional needs.
So starting with 3 to 7s, with the youngest learners, we've focused on a use of AI that children of this age are familiar with and use frequently, voice assistants. So in this pack, we want to help children recognise AI as a form of technology by thinking about how voice assistants are different to people and how to safely use them. So on the screen here, you can see part of our activity, Rue's New Friend. And this activity provides an opportunity to use storytelling to share a key online safety message for this age group, that AI technologies are not human, and that there are some things children will need to go to a trusted adult for help with. The story can guide learners through this and prompt useful discussion around this topic, allowing learners to draw on their own comparisons to deepen their understanding, and it's a great activity to run as a whole class or group. Learners can then strengthen this learning using the activity sheet that helps them think about the differences between humans and voice assistants. And as well as running this simply as its own activity, this story can provide a great opportunity to assess where learners are in their understanding of AI before delving further into different uses of voice assistants in the other activities. So as we mentioned, there are ideas to scaffold and challenge for all activities to help all learners access them. And if you find during the story that learners have a good understanding, there's slides like this to extend their learning and go into more detail about voice assistants. If there are learners that need more support, there's also a version that just shares the key points to help support them. This also has an accompanying activity sheet which gives learners the opportunity to reinforce the learning from the slides. This can be a great way to adapt the activity for those who have special educational needs. During this story and throughout the other slides, we've used the term voice assistant because this is a term we found many children were familiar with. We know different children may find different terms more familiar to describe the same technology. And as Rosie said already, the great thing about this and what was requested from schools from other years is that we've made all of these slides fully editable, so educators can literally change the text to whatever's work best for your learners. And this is, again, is particularly great for adapting the slides for accessibility too.
Now, if you're looking for an activity that gets into a bit more depth about the use of voice assistants, a great one to try would be the How do voice assistants make us feel activity. This one has slides that discuss different feelings technology can make people feel, and then looks at some different scenarios involving voice assistants, as you can see some examples of on the screen. There's also a slide to remind them what they can do if a voice assistant does something that upsets them or worries them, by reminding them of the trusted adults in their lives. And the great thing about the slides being editable is that you can edit it to include key safeguarding stuff in your setting. An activity you can run even with only 10 minutes is the How can I use a voice assistant activity. This one has examples of different uses of voice assistants, with some being safe and fun uses, and other ones that may be unsafe and upsetting. This activity can be run in a real variety of ways, as the examples are provided both on slides and on printed cards. So it could be that learners complete it as a class or group with the slides, or maybe even using actions for okay or not okay uses. Or it could be completed independently or in small groups as a sorting activity using the cards. The cards also provide a great way to pre-teach vocabulary to learners with additional needs who may need familiarising with the ideas before the activity. And there's also an activity in this pack that has a broader online safety focus, which you can see on the right of the screen here. This is the Personal Online Safety Plan, which is a resource designed for use in small groups or individually, which gives a template to guide learners to reflect on their use of technology, how it makes them feel, what rules they already follow at home and at school, and input into a plan that reminds them how to keep safe online. This resource is also adaptable, and each part can be adjusted to fit the learner's needs as it is all editable. If it's easier for a child to draw, write, or even type, then it could be edited for whatever method is most accessible for them, and to focus on whichever questions are most relevant. This resource can be used in lots of different settings, and if it's completed at school or at a club, then it could be photocopied to share with their family too for consistency.
Let's move on next to the pack for 7 to 11-year-olds. And with this age group, we found from our focus groups that they were using a wider range of AI. So to reflect this, we've used a broad range of scenarios to help them understand safe and responsible use of AI. One activity that we've worked hard on to create a range of examples for learners is this one, the okay or not okay activity that you can see a couple of examples of on the right-hand side of the screen. And this activity provides an opportunity for learners to explore whether a use of AI is okay or not, guiding them to understand that the AI use should be responsible and should make them and others feel safe and make them feel positive as well. The scenarios are provided on the screen, which can be shown on screen for large groups or on cards for individual or small group use, which could be in a way to challenge learners to try this for themselves. A really interactive way that we've suggested you could run this activity is to place cards for okay, not okay, or it depends in different places in the room. And for each scenario, have learners physically move to the opinion card that they most agree with. This activity also has educator guidance for each scenario to ensure educator confidence when guiding learners and addressing any misconceptions. Our responding to misuses of AI activity is one of the most adaptable activities in this pack. It starts with slides to help discuss the positive uses of AI and then goes into scenarios that explore what learners can do if there are misuses of AI. You can group learners to discuss different scenarios like the ones you can see on the screen. The slides can also enable conversations after this about what steps they can take to respond to misuse of AI or when AI-generated content upsets them. Where this can get really creative for learners is what they do at the end of the activity, where we have suggested that they could create a role play about their scenario and the advice they would give, or write to an agony aunt style response to the scenario. Another way this can be adapted, particularly if learners will need more support or may have special educational needs, is to use PIP's problem, which you can see on the screen. That's a specific scenario that's been written as a more accessible alternative to the other scenarios, where learners can discuss together how Pip is feeling and what he should do next. There's also sentence starters that go alongside this problem to help scaffold learners where they think of their advice.
Now, one activity that we think covers a particularly important part of AI use for this age group is the AI chatbots activity. This focuses on what an AI chatbot is, how people may use them, and the limitations of using AI chatbots for support, including where young people can get help if they need it, which can be adapted to include key safeguarding contacts for each setting. During this activity, we don't differentiate between AI chatbots and AI companions to make it accessible to this age group. But the messaging aligns to both, as we emphasize the importance of talking to an adult and not relying on a chatbot for advice. This activity also has a chance for learners to present what they've learned in a leaflet. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here, a version of the worksheet that can be particularly useful for those learners who may need more support or have special educational needs. This pack also includes a quiz, which we have included in two formats. Firstly, you can find it as a clickable interactive quiz on the UK Safer Internet Centre website, so you could pop this up on a screen in your setting and work through it with a group. You'd be given feedback on each answer as you go and a score at the end. You can find this on the same website page we mentioned before by clicking on quizzes or by clicking the link in the education pack. Alternatively, we've also provided the questions and answers for the quizzes in a Word document format, which is document number 3 in the pack. This is because we've had feedback from educators previously that they would have liked to adapt the quizzes to the software and platforms they're already using in school, such as Kahoot. So hopefully this makes this as easy as possible to do. The final thing in the pack is an assembly for 3 to 11s. The assembly will be document number 4 in your initial download. This assembly introduces Safer Internet Day before focusing in on this year's theme of AI by looking at what AI is, delivering some key messages and considering how learners may use it in the future. As in previous years, they include editable slides for you to add the name of your designated safeguarding lead or other reporting routes specific to your setting. We also have top tips available on the UK Safer Internet Centre website for 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s, plus parents and carers, and separate specific tips for parents and carers of 3 to 7s. So there's something for everyone. These top tips would also be a great option if you want to send something home to share with parents and carers.
Thank you. So that actually concludes our tour of the resource packs. I hope it's been useful and you do download the resources yourself so you can explore what we've put together and adapt something for your setting. As a reminder, they're available in English, Welsh and Irish on the UK Safer Internet Centre website, and they're free for anyone to access, and you can adapt them to suit your needs, whether you're a teacher or you work with young people in another capacity. We do have a special request for any of you joining this webinar today. The UK Safer Internet Centre is a partnership of 3 charities, and we rely on support and funding to be able to run this campaign and provide all of the materials we've talked about throughout the session today. By registering as a supporter of the day, you can help us evidence the reach the campaign has, which is really important to help us secure that funding and mean we're able to continue producing all of these free resources for you. So please do register your organisation as a supporter. You'll need to supply a few details and also a copy of your logo to appear on our interactive map. But we've changed the form from previous years, so you're no longer required to tell us what your plans are for the day. So if you're not sure yet, you can still register and your school will appear on our map showing supporters across the country. And as you can see, we had an incredible uptake from Northern Ireland last year, and we'd love to see that section of the map as heavily covered with activity again this year, even if you're participating the week before of the actual date. You can also show your support on social media. A full social media pack will be launching very soon on the UK Safer Internet Centre website, and that will include suggested wording and a lot of graphics as well. We'll be resharing and engaging with as many of you as possible, so do use the hashtag Safer Internet Day and keep an eye on our accounts and subscribe to our newsletters as well. Okay, what we'll do now is, if you just bear with us, we will have a little look at the Q&A and see if we've had any questions put in there. So we've not got any questions on there. Just to let you know, we have been recording the session today, and that will be put up on YouTube, and it'll also be sent around to schools so they can kind of share that with teachers within school who might not have been able to join today as well. But if you do have a question, feel free to pop it in that Q&A now, and we'll just wait around maybe for another minute and see if we get anything through into there. Okay, we've still not had any questions through, so I will wrap up our webinar for today. Thank you so much for joining us and taking that time. We hope it's been useful, and we're excited to see what this year's Safer Internet Day will bring. So if you do just 3 things after our session today, please do check out the website and all the resources available, register as a supporter, and make space for conversations about life online with the children and young people you work with on Safer Internet Day and all year round. Thank you everyone for coming. That's it from us. Have a lovely evening and goodbye.
Bye.